poet, and he performs all across our continent, entertaining people with his lovely poetry. So I decided to spoil you guys tonight. And so he's going to come up now, and yeah, please help me in welcoming him.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening.
That's a bit better. As stated, my name is Tutugani Ndlovu. I'm a spoken word artist, mostly assistant coordinator for the Freestart Literature Festival. And I decided, I'm going to share a few poems, pretty short, so I'm not going to waste too much of your time. And I hope you enjoy them. The first two are just going to be snippets, though. They're not going to be the full poems. I'm launching a book in May, so if you want to listen, Mariana reads the full poems for the first two pieces, then you'd have to buy the book. But the last two poems are complete poems. And I hope you enjoy the poetry. And if you don't, it's fine. I also don't like most of my work. So the first poem, it's a more chilled poem. It's entitled, Her Name is Fire. She was no different from the devil. And I was no different from a lukewarm Christian under her spell. We were like a pair of naked flames, match made in hell. I thought I had fallen in love, but it was lust in which I fell. I guess the reason why we had such a deep connection was because our demons knew each other too well. You see, it all started when my innocent and naked eyes were first exposed to the manifestation of her physical presence. She was hot, enough to burn the forests of my imagination with her clothed physical features. I should have known that something wasn't right, because she did not just leave me speechless. She left my tongue tied and hidden to lustful secrets. Anyway, a few days later, we eventually found ourselves alone, and while her sexy voice carried words that flirted with my soul and made my heart melt, I could not resist being hypnotized and tempted to taste her immaculate lips, which looked like the sweetest forbidden fruits. So trust me when I say I know exactly how Eve must have felt. Anyway, if her bedroom walls had eyes, ears, and could speak, they would gossip about how every time we would make love, the room temperature would rise, and her bedroom would become a furnace. Our naked bodies learned how to embrace the heat while treating sex as the only answer to our burning questions. No wonder why the sex we always had felt like paradise and hell. She was fulfilling the devil's will, and I was forsaking God's purpose. Thank you. All right, the second one is a bit more it's Christian-based as well. Most of my work touches on love, social activism, and just social awareness. And I've tried to prepare different poems so you can get a taste of each facet of the work that I do, basically. This one is entitled, Some of These Men. Some of these men of God are not God's men, and maybe not even God's children. They are men who prophesy to financially profit from those who have a religious dependency syndrome. You see, they know how to misuse the gospel of Jesus Christ in a way that leaves congregations under a foreign ghost spell that keeps them hypnotized. These men are religious magicians who don't only prey on hypocrite Christians, but some have even left daughters and sons victimized. Some of these men of God are not God's men, and maybe not even God's children. They are men who own buildings and don't have to worry about practicing what they preach, as long as they are Sunday Christians. They are not after God's own heart, but after the heart of people, especially those whose hearts are still addicted to miracles. Some of these men are pastors, priests, popes, deacons. I guess it's unfortunate that titles don't always change the hearts of individuals. Some of these men of God are not God's men, and maybe not even God's children. They are motivational speakers who speak with hidden motives and rob the Lord's storehouse to make their millions. We now have churches that are no different from pyramid schemes. And it's obviously not God on top of the pyramid, but the prophet, pun intended. Thank you. All right, on to the full poems. They're also pretty short, and this one I'm going to share is entitled Lost Tears. I wish I could find all the tears that I held back at my father's funeral. Because today, I realized that those tears were actually meant to quench my soul's thirst. Instead, I held them back behind my naked eyes for so long that if you saw my frequently dehydrated soul, you would think that I was cursed. I know I'm not cursed, but I wish my 14-year-old self knew that real men don't cry. It was a myth that polluted my brain. Anyway, my father was a busy man. I seemed to be very busy, but now I ask myself, was I only inspired by his actions, or maybe I've just been busy enough in order to numb the pain? The pain that my soul feels every time it is thirsty can only be healed by my Creator, the author of time. Maybe this is why I still cannot find the tears that I held back at my father's funeral. So my soul still thirsts, even when I say that I'm fine. If I found the tears that I have been looking for, would it be too late because of the men who I have already become? And what if these tears eventually find me? Would they pour like the gentle rain outside? Or would they drown and cover my soul like an eclipsed, fatherless son? Thank you. The last poem, and then I will not disturb you guys any further. This one is also based on social activism. I wouldn't say it's a topic that needs to be spoken about more often. And yeah, it's entitled, She Told Me That. She told me that the flames that embraced the Amazon forest and Australian forests, while exhaling the smoke that suffocated the earth's lungs, are nothing compared to the flames that burn her sisters every day. Her sisters have always been forests on fire, and the flames are mostly black, African sons. She told me that she is tired of living in fear of being raped or killed or both. And she has lost hope in believing that maybe one day these atrocities will come to an end. She is tired of having to bury black female bodies with hopes that one day their souls will rest in peace. The same peace that was stolen from them while they lived. The same peace that was stolen by black African men. She told me that my gender, inclusive of those who share a similar melanated skin as mine, continue to deny her and her sisters basic human rights. while I just continue to write poems in the comfort zones of male privilege, ignorant of the fact that black African men will always be the reason why even the innocent moon will always have sleepless nights. Thank you very much.
And now I want to call on Nadia, who's our guest speaker. Nadia owned her own business at the age of 23 years old. Like, she's a champ. Nadia is the owner of Cuberoo, which is a digital agency, as well as it helps people with creative strategies. She did her education in Johannesburg, where she studied strategic communication, as well as did a graphic design course, and she's really worked with one of the best in the industry, having worked with brands like VW, having worked with brands like Tiger Brands. So I really appreciate the work she does in Bloemfontein, and that's why I have called her to be our speaker here at Startup Grind and just share her wisdom and knowledge. And Nadia, I hope we can learn so much from you. Please help me in welcoming Nadia.
Yeah, that's perfect. Hi Nadia, I'm so happy to have you here. This is so exciting, and I'm so happy that so many people turned out. It's like a rainy day and it's gloomy and cloudy, but so many people are so keen to hear Nadia speak.
Thank you guys for being here, and thank you for having me.
Nadia, so I'm going to just get right into it. So please tell us, how did you come to starting Cuberoo?
By accident, kind of. So I actually ended up moving, took the wrong job opportunity, which actually ended up becoming a business. Just because I was in a very straight path, I suppose. I worked in Johannesburg for very long for a company called UB. Started with McDonald's as my clients, moved to Cape Town, and then had VW, and then switched jobs to BMW. So it was quite an interesting career path, very straight. And I worked my way up from account exec to account manager. Ended up in Bloom, and then actually took the wrong job opportunity. And then at that point, if you really do have nothing to lose, it's really easy to take risks. I think it's harder if you do have a family and children. To me, I think I'm at the age where basically, I could basically take the risk. I had nothing to lose. And then it ended up being quite a hard way of working, just getting past year one. We started out actually 3 business partners. And as the year went on, starting a business is not easy, obviously. You basically started on, you hope and you pray and you wish for luck. And then year one, often it just does not work out. And so we got less and less in the company. But then year 2 was really when things started to change. So Cuberoo was actually born out of, 3 people who kind of wanted to change the ads, agency atmosphere in Bloemfontein. We really did want to bring knowledge from, different places, Joburg, Cape Town, everywhere, and make sure Bloem has exactly the same knowledge that large companies have in bigger cities. Because for some reason, always, Bloemfontein is kind of like an X on the map. People tend to forget Bloem is a city in South Africa. And I think we've got great businesses here, wonderful people. We really can do great work here.
People often get shocked even that we even have a Startup Grind, because Startup Grind is in New York and all these fancy cities all over the country and the world, and you think Bloemfontein really? So people really underestimate us, but we always come from behind. That's so true. So Nadia, I want to know, what does your business do? What's Cuberoo about?
It's really interesting. So when I work in Cape Town and Joburg, obviously if you work in marketing, you've got quite a few platforms and different things you can do. You've got TV, you've got radio, you've got social media, you've got newspapers. So what's really interesting is I kind of got a good idea working as an account manager for really big brands. We got to do TV, radio, all the platforms, and then social media kind of stood out. Your return on investment is so large that no other platform can really compete. The cost for a TV ad is just, enormous. And people nowadays tend to sit and watch TV, but then they sit on their cell phones while watching TV. So attention has really shifted to the mobile phone. and to the internet, away from TV. And radio still has a spot, newspaper still has a spot, because obviously if you're driving your car, hopefully you aren't on your cell phone. I'm looking at all of you guys. But it kind of came to the point where I realized that, listen, this is really working. Companies are putting out new content onto social media, and if you send the right message to the right people, you get a good response. I don't know if you guys have ever gone on TV and you've seen an ad and you're really irritated because it just did not speak to you, and you had to sit through those 30 seconds. So the beauty about social media nowadays is you can literally pick out the people you know who will love your ad. In other words, if you are selling women's clothing, you can target only women. If you are targeting, business people, you can go onto LinkedIn and literally do business-to-business leads. So what I love about this and why we do this is because we are helping companies match with people who are really looking for them. That's the same with Google as well. So Google does this really well. If you think about it, nowadays if you buy something, what do? Like you Google it. So you standing out on Google really is the biggest investment you can, the biggest thing you can actually do for your business. Because people don't walk around anymore and look for things. They already know what they want to buy. Go research it, see what's out there, and then they go buy it. So Cuberoo really does specialize on making people stand out online, and then also getting leads for the least amount of money.
So,
am I silent?
Yeah, we're having.
I'm so sorry, I did not notice. Sorry, guys.
Nadia's back. Did you catch that?
I'm so sorry.
Perfect. Okay, so Nadia is doing a lot of talking, and she spoke about what her company offers to me, and we really decided to put all of this to the test. So Nadia was very generous in offering to advertise our Startup Grind event for 600 Rand on Facebook. And I must tell you, we've never had such a great response to our post on Facebook ever. It's like all of a sudden people that were dead or silent reappeared or came to life, and we really just had such a great response. So Nadia, I want you to walk us through the process of how we were able to gain such a great impact.
That was quite wonderful, actually. So it's always better to show people than to tell them, honestly. Even clients as well. What works best is if you show them what previous clients have done and what has really worked for them. So for Startup Grind, what we did is we did it's a location-based post. So we took Bloemfontein and we took our ad and we said, okay, we will only be paying Facebook if a person responds. So everyone who saw the ad but took no action, that was free advertising for us. So how many people here have a business page? Just hands up. Okay, almost everyone. That's wonderful. Worst thing you can ever do is to click on boost this post. Never, ever, ever do that. Do you guys know that? Do you? Okay, you know. That's wonderful. So there's a wonderful platform. It's a third-party plugin from Facebook. It's called Ads Manager. And what you do is you literally go into Ads Manager, and from there you can literally pick things you did not know you can pick. From what people are interested in, how old they are, where they live, and also very important to click only people who live in them, not just anyone who's visiting, so that you don't waste like a cent at all. So most of my clients I've been working with now for 2-3 years. Like they tend not to leave, and there's a reason for it. Only 1,900 businesses in our country are taking advantage of this. And this is big, small, medium. So Ads Manager, that's really something to hop onto. Because really cool to remember as well is one company owns Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. So you can literally run a campaign and it can pull through to each one of those platforms. So did it work for you guys? Tell me.
It did.
We reached 10,000 people.
We did.
Yeah.
I kept looking at it and I don't know, it almost felt like she did a trick on it, and then it just kept going and going and going. So that was really impressive. And to think that we were meant to spend 1,000 and we only ended up spending 600 Rand, and it still had such a great impact. It just goes to show like we're not all talk, but you guys are actually you've clocked the system.
Yeah. But it is there, you know, you should take advantage, especially for business owners right now. And even if you want to start a business, or it doesn't really matter where you are in the cycle, you know, you can choose. If you've got an online store, you can say, listen, I want to campaign a conversion campaign where Facebook only takes my money if someone checks out. In other words, literally you waste no money on marketing. And the worst thing for a company is, you know, wasting money on marketing and not really getting return on investment. Because if nobody sees what you're doing, you know, you don't really exist. And the problem now is with social media, from a business perspective, organic has become almost redundant. Like, your posts do not get seen. Only 2% of the people following you get to see your posts. So, you know, you need to spend money on Facebook and on Instagram to get a return. It's just come to that point.
Sure. Now we know. I hope everyone that's here has taken note of that and is really going to invest their money wisely, because there's no point in spending money on marketing in this tough economy where you don't see the results of the return. So now on to my next question, Nadia. I want to find out your competitive advantage. Having your company here at Bloemfontein, what would you say you've identified to be your competitive advantage?
Bloom is definitely, it's cheaper to do business here. Renting office space, no jokes, you cannot get office space for the same amount of money in Joburg, Cape Town. We're also central, so that helps. Because we have clients in, you know, Joburg, Cape Town, Durban, everywhere, you know, from here at least you are mobile, you can go everywhere. And also, you know, there are so many businesses that haven't really adapted and become progressive. There's really big space for growth here. There's a lot of potential, and, you know, a lot of businesses who haven't yet, you know, understood social media. Everyone knows they need to use it, but everyone probably has a friend that's actually a business that has a Facebook profile. Have you seen that? So is that right or wrong? That's wrong. You know, you need a profile for yourself, but your business definitely needs a business page. People will also take you more seriously if you have one. Because from there you can also advertise, and, you know, you can also have competitions if you don't have any money. There are so many ways you can go about this. But if you aren't in social media yet and you have a business, I strongly urge you, you know, educate yourself, see what you can do, and, you know, just to raise your awareness as well.
Cool, that's true. Now, Nadia, I think this is a great time to tell the audience about your online course that you're currently working on.
So the biggest thing we have right now is that most businesses can't necessarily pay per month, you know, a retainer fee for an agency. So we've kind of decided to make this a little bit more accessible for everyone. So everything we do for our clients, we're actually going to put online for 800 Rand per person. So that is drastically less than you would pay for an agency. It'll literally take you through how to set up your Facebook page, how to do your ads, how to create content, you know, schedule it. So you don't sit there every day wondering, what Facebook post am I going to do today? I think, do you guys struggle with that at all? Yeah, I think if you know, there's a set rule of things you can do within a month. Do all your content. It takes you half a day. And then you schedule it, and the rest of the month you completely forget about it. It just runs on its own. So there are quite a few things we can do to make it better for you. And our biggest problem has always been, you know, we're only a few people. Getting the work done, it takes a lot of time. So doing this online course, we've kind of jumped onto the fourth industrial revolution, if you may. You know, where we kind of thank you so much. I keep forgetting that. You kind of automate what you do. So in other words, we're trying to help as much people as possible and really make it affordable.
Okay, so Nadia is currently working on this online course, and it's going to be available in the next few months. So please check it out. I'll definitely be advertising it because I've seen the work that you do. And now I want to go on to the challenges, because we know business isn't all fun, it isn't all, okay, we get all this great work done and so forth. You encounter challenges as a business owner. So what challenges have you encountered?
Oh wow, until the last week, also think being a business owner is kind of like being an extreme athlete. Like literally you go through so much. It does make it easier, I suppose, if you are young and willing to take risks. I do know a lot of people who are married and have children, but then you need a very supportive spouse. So I also think surrounding yourself with people who do understand what you are doing and who encourage you. I have my dad who always told me just to keep going. So you need someone to just tell you, listen, just go on, because you will want to give up, like 100 million times. But if you are willing to build for 3 years, you'll probably end up having something that can sustain you for the rest of your life. So every challenge is just there to make you stronger. And also, I suppose being gritty helps a lot. Yeah.
That's so true. Just to close off now, I want to find out what last words you have to share with the audience, because I know we're sitting with entrepreneurs, we're sitting with people who are aspiring to own their own businesses, and they would really like to find out like how to do it, and anything that could help and assist them in their ventures.
I thought about this actually a while ago. Success really is if you put your head on the pillow at night, that you have no worries and that you can sleep soundly. So if you want to, become a CEO, then you should go do that. If you want to own a business, you should do that. But make sure it doesn't come at a cost that kind of, ruins your peace. At the end of the day, at least, if you have a business and it's costing you all your relationships, make sure that really is what you want. If you have a side business but you hate your job, see if you can make your side business your full-time job. But there really isn't like a one-size-fits-all. You need to really do what makes you happy. So I think if you want to be an entrepreneur, you need to be very, very, very sure. You need to know that it's going to take a lot from you, but it will give you a lot back in return as well.
That's true. Nadia, yes, that's so helpful. A lot of the times we try to do things that other people have done, and when it doesn't work for us, we immediately quit. So it's always good to also look at it in terms of what are you good at, what works for you personally. But otherwise, thank you so much for this, Nadia.
Thank you so much for having me.
It's been so insightful. Now, we're going to take questions from the audience. Anyone who has questions for Nadia, please ask her now while she's here.
I want to find out what is the best way to market service-based products where you don't have a tangible physical product?
Service or physical?
Service-based.
What's the best way? What is the service?
Consultancy.
Consultancy. Okay, so that's business to business.
Yes.
So business to business is radically different than business to consumer. Business to consumer, social media works really, really well because people do impulse buys very quickly. Sorry. I have two very good ways for you to do that. The one's direct marketing. For business to business, that works really well because obviously I don't really know a business owner who's going to go look for trucks on Facebook. So, going to them directly, emailing them, finding out, a company has already solving it for them and being proactive. The other one's LinkedIn. LinkedIn works really well for business to business. A third one is also Google. So if you can rank, I don't know how many of you guys are familiar with search engine optimization. You guys know what that is? Yeah. So that's basically, if you type in something into Google, why do some people rank first and others like you don't even find them? That's basically you are feeding Google information. So if you sell shoes, you need images of shoes, but you also need to tell Google this is an image of a shoe. And then also you can put money on that as well so it ranks first. So 3 strategies for you for a business-to-business consultancy. That works.
My question came around from your closing, and then I would say a little bit, touching a little bit on this last question that you just had now. So you've been through a number of challenges. You said that one of your biggest mistakes led to what might be one of your biggest successes. And you spoke about having nothing to lose. But we're all human. And I think we're all prone to, when you're in that situation of having nothing to lose, getting stuck in a rut. And I think an initial or a first reaction that many people have is to keep on going, take the punches and keep on getting up. But the next step would be to change your thinking. How did you, and you spoke about being resourceful now, was there something, what did you feed yourself with to change your thinking? Was there something in particular that had an influence on you? And how did you extend your thinking to, not from maybe, normal sightedness to seeing beyond? Was there something over there that stood out to you?
That's a really good question. I think if you start your own business, getting out of bed it's a problem. You need something to keep you going. And I also say you become the people you surround yourself with. So I was pretty lucky. I have engineer friends. That helps a lot. Also, TED talks. Knowing that you have something to get out of bed for as well. To me, it was the gym. If I could get to the gym, I would be awake and I would have to do something that day. But then also, if you keep on reading, if you keep on feeding your mind and feeding your soul, you might really get depressed. So to me, the biggest thing that kind of influenced me was just looking to people who have made it. If you look at someone like Tony Robbins, that's someone who literally, he was a janitor at a stage, and now, he does really well. And he does a lot of studies on why do some people have everything and then end up losing it, and why do some people have nothing and end up multi-millionaires. And that has always fascinated me. So I'm kind of trying to study people like Tony Robbins and Robert Shaw. So I kind of like the way that they motivate you, because if you don't listen to motivational talks, if you don't go to the gym, it's very easy to sit in your bed and think nothing's working out. But you literally have to wake up every day and motivate yourself, and that really does get tough. I think until something starts to work, then you kind of feel better and you feel like a new energy. Did I answer your question?
I think so.
Okay, it's somewhere in there. Okay.
Hi, Nadia. My question is basically more looking at your locally based clients. Do you find that maybe you have to sort of emphasize the importance of marketing to them, or do they already understand it? But also, are they willing to invest funds in marketing?
So locally it's quite difficult. Majority of my clients are Joburg, Cape Town based. I do like my new clients because they are here, I know what they are going through, I get to see them all. Investing funds is really difficult. Majority of my clients do tend to go have competitions or get influencers, which are also great ways of doing it. That's kind of a way to not invest funds, but to still get a return, just to get people to be aware of you. I think, Bloemfontein marketing has a very old school approach, majority of the time. I think that. It's a lot of word of mouth, it's a lot of, it's a lot of networking. This has been, to me, to gain clients in the province, it's never been more difficult than a Bloemfontein. But it has also made me better marketing. I've often had to take the risk of showing them what it can do. By example, a few times I actually only charge clients the second phone. So that one their phones go entirely into an app. And then you kind of own your phone. But it is definitely challenging. I'm not sure why though. I think Bloom has its own economic hub, and it has its own way of thinking. So to me the challenge was changing my mind. Not so much just changing theirs, because I think there's scope to do a lot of marketing and wonderful work. And that's why I'm still here and I'm still not giving up, because I do think there's a lot that the country can learn and see from it.
Okay, so I wanted to ask, I do own a small business, but I tend to shy away from posting because I feel maybe that my photos are not good enough. So I don't know if you have any advice on should I get a personal photographer, you know, when we start doing things seriously on social media? Or is the camera good enough? There are megapixels and things. There's a little bit more detail that I know goes into your kind of work. But where do we start as an entrepreneur? Is a phone good enough? Do we post every Thursday or Friday? You know, where do we start? Because everything is so, I've been through a few kind of trainings, you know, you get an idea, but I know it's so intense. But where can we begin?
I'm so glad you asked that. To me, it's quality over quantity, definitely. And then also understanding yourself. If you are a small business, how old is your business? 4 years now. The most difficult part is if you need to know exactly what you are doing. Otherwise, you can't explain to anyone else what you are doing. And one of the best things I've heard, you get posting times. If you think about it extremely logically, if you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do? Scroll your social media. Most people, it's a horrible habit. Please stop if you do it, but everyone does. Then you get to work. What do people do after a few hours of work? Check social media. So 9 o'clock's also a pretty good time to post. Then they've got a few hours of working really hard, so if you post in those hours, you know it's gone. Also, if you post like 5 o'clock in the morning, other people will post and their post is gone. So timing is a good one to be organic. Quality of posts, really important. I would definitely invest in photography. Tell you why, it's going to cost you about 800 Rand to 1,000 Rand. You shoot on one day, you shoot every single product, and you shoot your whole stuff, and then you've got content for a whole year. So instead of every day wondering what am I going to post, which is going to take a hell of a lot of your time, do one shoot and use that content for the whole year. And then there's something else. You're small, not. Does that help? But I would definitely just get a photographer, you know, and you can still do behind the scenes photos, that's great. But invest in your social media. Honestly, otherwise it takes your time and it annoys the people who spam as well. But then at least you know you sorted for a whole year. You can drag out that content for a year.
So you've been sharing about social media and the importance of it, which I think we're all aware of it. And in such a saturated industry and being in Bloemfontein, I think we've seen some fly-by-nights and we've all been a little bit hurt. But the work that you've done is absolutely incredible and what you've brought to Bloemfontein. But the thing that I've come to realize in going through all the amateurs and going through people that really rip you off and coming to see the quality and the benefit of social media, because my business has grown exponentially. Without much money being invested into it, but using the right strategy. But now I'm sitting on the other side where, okay, we tick all the right boxes, but how do we grow from there? Because I don't understand the data. Like all the reports and stuff that we get is all this squiggly lines and, in terms of how do you know what to look for? And specifically in terms of growth, how do you keep the exponential growth going?
That's a good question. A lot of the times when you get reports back from whoever, make sure it's not, written in a way to show you that they've done a good job. Focus on literally 2 things. 1, am I making more money? 2, is my platform growing? 3, are people engaging? If you've got 100 Facebook posts and nobody's liking it, please stop and think why. Is what you're doing helpful? I'm not going to give you 5 ways to actually grow. Without using money. 1, educate people on what you're doing. Why are you doing it? 2, literally, entertainment. Please don't be boring. You don't have to pretend to be funny, but do something that's interesting. 3, literally, inform them. This is something that they. 4, sell your products, but don't do just that. Otherwise, people are going to unfollow you. So you need a good mix of. There's something else I forgot what it is. I'm so sorry, but there are 5 things. It's funny. But you need a mix of content. So, and then you also need to make sure. People actually are interested in what you're posting. Why are you posting? It's for people, it's not for you to give them a message out. But know your audience and then make sure you're speaking to them. And then also if you want to grow, again, you have to spend money nowadays on social media. But also make sure you rep the right code because you can very easily lose a lot of money. But if you're platform growing and making more money, then that's fine. But everything else, if 1,000 people are looking at your post but you aren't getting clients in, what's the use?
That's kind of where we're stuck.
Oh, okay.
Exponential growth with that goal.
No.
So it's like, what do you do next?
Okay. No. I think re-strategize and talk to people who are already clients and ask them what they want to see more of. Instead of guessing. Is that helpful?
Is that all the questions? For those of you who are shy like me, you can ask questions afterwards because we're going to have a networking session for the last part of the evening. So that's when everyone can get together and ask the questions that they have in mind. But for now, we have an exciting quiz that we have. Nadia is going to ask 2 questions to the audience, and whoever gets them right will win a prize. So we have 2 prizes for 2 questions answered correctly by the audience. So Nadia, you can go ahead. Yes.
Okay. Who ranks highest on your Instagram story views?
Okay, this is totally a guess, so I wouldn't know. But I'm thinking, what's his face now? Anyone.
Anyone's stories. What's the person who ranks highest? It's a good fact to know.
50 Cent. 50 Cent? Yeah, I got Instagram. Well, I was guessing. I don't know if I'm right or wrong.
Khloe Kardashian. No. I'm the person who posts most likes. Who ranks highest? If you post a story, who's on top?
You're going to answer for it now.
It's not the how it's true, it's true or not.
Yeah.
But the person that viewed your profile the last and how many times they've actually looked at it. I think it's more.
And they engage just the most.
Yes,
That's your stalker. You can collect your prize at the end of this. As close as possible. Okay. Second question. Easy one or a hard one?
A hard
one.
Yes, they're nice prizes, so I can't just give them away.
Okay. Let me ask the question you guys thought that I asked. Who has the most Instagram followers on Earth?
I hope she still has. I think it's Selena Gomez.
It's changed now.
Kylie Jenner. I don't know.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
So the 2 people who answered correctly, congratulations. You can come to me afterwards and I'll give you your prizes. Thank you so much, Nadia. The interview was so great. I learned so much and I know all of you learned a lot too. So Nadia's still going to be around when we have our networking session. So if you have anything to ask her, come to her. If you want to take pictures with her or write here, you can do that. So thank you so much, Nadia. Awesome. I'm stepping down as director of Startup Grind, and we have a new Startup Grind director who has exciting ideas and who's excited to take over. So please help me in welcoming African. This is African and she will be the new director at Startup Grind. Last year she worked really closely with Startup Grind University. So now we pulled her onto our side. She graduated. if you know, please tell our community about yourself and any exciting things you learned today, and yeah, just for them to know who you are.
Hi everybody, I'm Cuberoo. So just a bit of background on some of the things that So like I said, I'm a freeway, so a bit of background on some of the things that I do. I own a construction company which specializes in brick manufacturing as well as general building. But then I'm also a PhD student at the University of the Free State, and last year I also started serving on an organization called EDHD, which basically stands for Entrepreneur Development in Higher Education. So we're basically about promoting and being an activist for entrepreneurship within institutions of higher learning. So I'm just very excited to meet everybody and to work with everybody, and I'm hoping to see the faces that I'm seeing today more often, and I'm just very excited about everything.
Now we've come to the end of the fireside chat, and we will be networking. So for those of you who still want more drinks, the bar's still open.